Welcome back to What Are You Noobs with General Disturbance, and you are looking at Ollie 11196, or Ollie as I'm going to call him from now on, and he's in the Su-14-2. That's the Tier 8 Soviet SPG, and we're on the south spawn of Ruinberg, or Winterberg actually, because it snowed, so it's definitely changed to the other name. And Ollie's trying to work out where he's going to go. I think, yeah, he's heading south. Or is it? Yeah, southwest. It looks like he's going into that little alcove at the back. Yep, that's where he's headed. And his fellow tanks are heading in all directions. Yeah, just about. But he's being joined by a GW Panther, who's getting in the way a bit there. That's a bit naughty. He could have gone over that pile of rubble over to the left, but no, chose he wanted to barge his way through. Never mind. Now, most of you probably know that the Su-14-2 is actually known as the school bus because it looks like a children's school bus. It's quite a big beast, but it's got a very, very nice gun on it. So, and he gets a lovely hit into that Conqueror straight away. 420 hit points of damage, 2 critical hits. What a way to start the battle. Good shot. Now, there's 2 guns on the Su-14-2. One is the 152mm B4 cannon. But the one that Ollie's using today appears to be the 203mm B4 cannon, which is the big monster. It's got a long reload, but it does a lot more damage. Okay, 340 hit points there on the Lerva, and on top of that he also picked up 46 hit points on the T-28 prototype. That was a lovely shot. Yes, the alpha damage on the 203mm B4 cannon is 1,050 hit points. Now, he's been spotted. The enemy have seen him, so he needs to move. He needs to get into cover, or he needs to change position, because he might be on the receiving end of a counter battery. Now, those tanks are poking their head round that church. And he's got one hit in there. He's managed to do another 471 hit points of damage to the Conqueror, but he's been spotted again. So the enemy know where he is. So he needs to keep moving to ensure he's not counter-batteried. Score's fairly even at the moment. And he's just firing rounds in every now and then to damage that Lerva and the Conqueror. There, he fires that one in and he gets the Lerva. The Lerva's gone down, and he did some damage to the Conqueror as well. 131 to the Conqueror, and he's picking up stun assists on top of that. Now he's pulled back, relocated. And he's having a look to see if he can assist further away. There's a T-28 HTC. It's sitting on that the centre line. It's coming down now next to the ruined houses. Okay, seeing if he can put a round on it without... Yep, he can do that. Rounds out. Direct hit. And it's wiped out directly afterwards. So he picks up 397 hit points on the T-28. And he gets stun assist of 203 on top of that. And the T-28's out the game. Great shot. Now he's still waiting for this reload to go in. The enemy that was in the square to the north have sort of like pulled away now. So... his main targets are actually further over to the east, and he's looking at that Lorraine now, and it hasn't got many hit points left, so he can splash it and kill it. Rounds out. Oh no, I think it hit. Yeah, I think he got bad RNG there. I think his shell hit a building, didn't hit. In fact, it may have stunned one of his own team. It appears one of his team had stun. It was the IS, which was close to that Lorraine. So I think the shell went wildly astray. He's only got 2 rounds of standard ammo left. Then he's on to the premium ammo. He's almost reloaded. He's having a look at the place where that Scorpion G was last seen. And one of his teammates in RU-251 is coming up there to see if he can find him. He's found him. Okay, rounds out. Oh, good splash. 321 splash. Oh, that GW Panther is taking a huge risk being out in the open there. If he gets spotted, he's going to get taken out very, very quickly because he's got no protection. Okay. Now, Ollie's gone back to the tanks near the church. There's a huge pile of wrecks there now. The IS and the T-28. And they're facing off against that UDES. I mean, they're going around the UDES. They're coming around the other side. And that's unfortunate because that means the next target will probably be Ollie. And they're now 3 tanks down. 3 tanks down. This is really bad. If they come around that corner, that UDES is probably not going to survive very long. And the T-28 prototype takes out the UDES. Oh my god. And the IS and the T-28 now headed towards Ollie. He needs to move and he needs to get out of there quickly. He's been spotted. They know where he is. He's moving. I'm not sure he'll get out of the way in time. I think he's turned to face him. He's loaded. He's ready to shoot. And he shoots. And he kills both of them. He takes out the IS and the T-28 prototype with 1 shot. That's a bombardier. Would you believe it? He's virtually equalled the scores with 1 shot. It's gone back now. There's 11 kills on Ollie's team, 12 on the enemy. He's got 2 tank destroyers, 2 arty on the enemy team. The GW Panther did get killed. He was in a very open position. It's a very silly thing to be out there in the open. You need to be in cover. Now we can see that Ollie's actually got a mark of excellence on his barrels, so he obviously knows how to handle this school bus quite well. Okay, he's pulling back into cover though. He wants to ensure that he can't be seen, so he can lay down fire without being fired upon. The enemy probably knows he's in this particular area. So long as he keeps relocating after each shot, he should be safe. There is 2 arties on the enemy team, one of which is a GW Panther. And he's looking for them right now, trying to find out if he can see the tracer from the enemy arty or see one of the tank destroyers. Of course, we don't know where that Scorpion G's gone to, but we know that Scorpion G suffered some damage. Now, if anything, he's probably likely to be hiding in those bushes next to those buildings, because those bushes provide good cover from anyone approaching the enemy cap. Not sure if Ollie's going to fire a shot in there speculatively, just to see if there's anybody in those bushes. Might be wiser to hold on to the shell, because the IS and the RU-251 are at the other end of the road now that leads to the cap. So, if anything, the closer they get to the cap, the more likely they're going to get hit, and they'll spot the enemy. And then Ollie can shoot back and stun them, and enable their teammates to get in there and do some damage. Now he's using the right hand mouse button here to have a look around elsewhere whilst holding his aim on the bush that he was previously looking at. You can do this in Battle Assistant. You just hold the right hand mouse button down, the aim retains where it is, stays where it is, and you just have a quick look around, see where the enemy is, or see if there's any trees falling or any sign that the enemy is moving about. There's some buildings have been knocked down at the back of, some walls rather, have been knocked down at the back of those buildings, so that indicates something travelled that way, but it doesn't say that the enemy is directly there. Ollie's relocating without firing. I think he's getting back a little bit further next door to this rubble to actually give him some protection. It makes the shot a lot more difficult for the enemy if he's sitting behind this rubble. I think he's also a bit concerned that the enemy Scorpion might try to come down this end of the map unmolested and take him out, which is why I think he's aiming at the corner to their cap. I think he thinks that the enemy's coming here. It looks like the two members of his team have decided they want to defend their cap rather than go after the enemy cap and risk those tank destroyers. Or rather, the RU-251 is going up the other road now. He's relocated around the corner. And he went back to do that to ensure that he wasn't spotted. The IS, in the meanwhile, is actually going around to the corner on the lane that leads up to the centre line, using the buildings as cover as he advances. The enemy's been spotted. It's one of the tank destroyers. It's the IKV-90, and Ollie fires, and it's a good splash. 402, and he's taken out by the RU-251 straight away. So he picked up the stun assist on top of that. So he's reloading, but he hasn't relocated. Normally I would say relocate immediately. If the enemy knows that there's very few tanks at the other... And we spotted the GW Panther. Okay, so he's been seen. Right, they need to get that... And he's been killed by the RU-251. That's great. That means there's only one enemy left, and that's the Scorpion G that Ollie hit earlier in the battle. And we know that he's missing half of his health. And it's more than likely that he's going to be either defending their cap. I doubt if he would have come this far south and risk his cap being overrun. So if anything, he's more likely to be in A0 or B0 or C0 shooting over the ridgeline at the cap. He's waiting for somebody to come into the cap before he... there he is. He's actually in the A line. But he's now come down to the houses. Now, Ollie can't get him there, but he can shoot here and splash him. Ollie shoots. And he kills him with splash. 14 hit points, but he gets him. That's the end of the battle. And it's a first-class tanker for Ollie 11196 in the SU-14-2. He gets a bruiser medal because he damaged at least 5 modules as well as all crew incapacitations. He got a fighter medal for killing 4 of the enemy. And of course he got that bombardier for wiping out the T-28 prototype and the Lerva with 1 shot. That was absolutely amazing shot that was. Or was it the IS? Difficult to remember at this point, but... yes, so for killing 2 tanks with 1 shot anyway. And Ollie scored the highest amount of hit points, 3,203 hit points. He got the joint highest number of kills, 4 with the Sparpanzer. And he also picked up the highest amount of base XP at 1,127 hit points. He's fired 10 rounds in total, 4 direct hits, 4 penetrations, 10 splash, 3,203 hit points of damage, of which 2,046 was at more than 300 metres. The Bombardier obviously was a lot closer, and also those hits around the church were probably a lot closer. He damaged 8 vehicles, destroyed 4. He did 891 worth of hit points of stun damage and caused 10 stuns in total. On a premium account, he earned 49,205 credits, but after deductions for ammunition and consumables, he takes away a deficit of 2,075 credits. He received 1,691 experience points, times 2 for first victory of the day, and he walks away with 3,382 experience points. So nice job there, Ollie. That was a pretty spectacular bombardier. It was aimed in overhead as well. I think most people would have done that shotgun right to the face of the enemy, but he very coolly aimed overhead and put the shell exactly where it needed to go. So nicely done. If you enjoyed this replay, please do give it a like and do subscribe to our channel. And hopefully I will see you in the next replay.